Oh, blessings. Happy dark moon, everyone. So here I am. Well, we have got a really, really exciting and probably life-changing for some of us eclipse portal coming, what we're coming into now. And yeah, there's a lot. So for this report today, I really want to embrace the whole season as a whole, which means this might be a bit of a longer report. So I've got my tea, I've got my water, and yeah, because so now we're coming up to the new moon, right? So this is a new lunar cycle, but during this lunar cycle we will have our lunar eclipse, a full moon in Scorpio. And so this is massive for many reasons, which I'll dive into more throughout the video. And then in our next lunar cycle, which will be coming into June, that's when we have our new moon solar eclipse, which will be in Taurus. And so that will be the solar part of it. And then we'll have another full moon in Sagittarius in June. And then, then we're closing. So it really is, the next 4 videos for me are going to be very based on the eclipses and what's happening with them. So today is like an opening. It's a preparation. It's a looking at the entire cycle of the next 8 weeks and what it's going to bring potentially for us. And so then when we get to the lunar eclipse full moon, this will be like we're really in it, so we'll be diving in to the depths of the feelings and the emotions, and it's like, going all the way down. And it's aligned with the south node of the moon as well, the lunar eclipse. So it really is about going in to our past, to our karma, to our past lives, to our old stories, and in Scorpio it's so deep. It's going to be a really, really big opportunity that's being presented to us to be reborn and transform from a lot of these old stories and old conditionings and patterns. And then when we get to our solar eclipse, that video I'll be doing then will be really about coming out into the light and saying, okay, well, I am rebirthing, and then finding the newness in that new cycle. So that lunar cycle will be quite different from this one, because this lunar cycle we're in a lunar eclipse in Scorpio this cycle. Next cycle will be our solar eclipse. So yeah, the lunar and solar eclipses are quite different. So yeah, and then the rest of the second lunar cycle, which will be starting at the solar eclipse, is much more about coming out, expressing things and rebirthing, awakening, ascending from the dark, from the depths. And actually that solar eclipse will be aligned with the north node, or very close to, which is our destiny. So this is a massive time for letting shit go and rebirthing ourselves and into this new destiny, right? And so that the rest of that lunar cycle, we'll be working with the energies of Sagittarius and Gemini. So I'll talk more about this because there's so much to talk about. So yeah, I'm going to begin drinking some tea, and just wanted to show you this piece of art that my partner has just finished. You can see my beloved partner, he makes these wood carvings, and he's just finished this fire dragon. And yeah, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is to do with the constellation Draco, which is the dragon. And then he's just happened to say, look, I finished this dragon. He's very tapped in. He doesn't even realize it, I think. Yeah. So anyway, what should we go into first? Let me see. I'm going to share a screen. So New moon in Aries. So here we go. You should be able to see this, hopefully. Just give me a moment. I'm just opening another one as well. So that's the next one. Okay, I'm going to start again. I accidentally clicked off with something, and I'm trying to share loads of screens with you, you see, so I want to make sure I'm sharing the right one. Okay. I've been having so much fun with the computer. Okay, new lunar cycle for May, June. So this is what the energies that we're going to be working with this lunar cycle. So the new moon in Aries is coming up on the 11th of the 5th at 19:59. This is all in the GMT time zone. So you can find out your time zone by looking at timeanddate.com. So yeah, you can see the new moon is in Aries in the lifetime sky and 13 star sign astrology that I use, which, to put it simply, is just the actual sky. That's the astrology I use, the sky. Looking at the sky as it is right now. That's the astrology that I am sharing. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy it and resonate with it. So yeah, the energies of this lunar cycle, you know, we're working with Aries at the new moon. It's really an energy of new beginnings. It's very fiery energy. And then on the 14th of May, the sun will be moving into Taurus. So that's not that long away, you know, it's pretty much just a few days after the new moon. So the new moon will be coming right at the end of constellation Aries. And then the first quarter moon will be in Leo on the 19th of May at 2021. And so this is another fiery beginning, you know. So as I said, like the beginning of this cycle, this eclipse season, is really a fiery beginning, you know. So this is how intense I've got the dragon and the fire. And wow, yeah. So yeah, we've got a new moon in fiery Aries, first quarter moon in fiery Leo. So we're beginning with the fire. Okay, so we can really embrace this sacred fire. And then we get round to our full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is on the 26th of May at 11:18. And as you can see, it's really close to the south node of the moon, which is actually at the end of a focus at the moment. I did have it written down somewhere. Yes, so the south node will move into Scorpio on the 13th of August this year. So it is right at the end of a focus now, but you know, these two constellations are so together, you know, so it's like it's affecting the south node. It is aligned to the south node for this eclipse. Yeah, and then we have our last quarter moon in Aquarius on the 2nd of June at 8:24. And so this is the first foursome that we're working with: Aries, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. You know, so you can see, you know, there's quite a lacking of earth in this whole experience. But then next cycle, you know, we're going to be working with the energy solar eclipse in Taurus, you know, so it's going to be very earthy then. But right now we've got fire, we've got deep dark water, and we've got transformation. This is an opportunity here that we're being gifted with to really work with these energies and connect to the south node and our past life, our baggage, our karma. And, you know, look at our charts, what we've got in Scorpio, if we've got anything in Taurus as well, you know, Aries as well. It's all of this, it's going to affect us in some way. You know, I've been looking at my chart, my partner's chart, my mum's chart, my dad's chart, my son's chart, like, so how's it going to affect us? And from my personal experience, you know, my son was born on a lunar eclipse, so I can tell you it brings great transformation. And eclipses seem to shake us up and bring change and movement and transformation where we most need it. You know, so it might not be like an obvious thing, it might be something unexpected, something hidden, you know. So the energy of Scorpio really can be connected to secrets and things that have been kept in the dark. You know, so on a global collective level, you know, who knows what this is going to bring up, you know, for us as a collective. But on an individual level, you know, we can really, in the next kind of few weeks before this full moon is coming, like I was saying before, this is our preparation time. And also being the witness and really seeing what is starting to come into my field right now. So looking for signs, looking for signals from the divine, you know, and, you know, what is being presented, what are the themes that are starting to arise. This is a key. This is a little tip for us. You know, this is the energy of what might be surfacing for us now. So you might start to see, you know, synchronicities, or the same numbers popping up, or the same person keeps popping into your mind or into your house or whatever, you know. So there's definitely these next 2 weeks, I feel it's really about, yeah, watching, listening, being the witness, and preparing for a deep transformation. You know, by the time we get to the full moon on the 26th and our lunar eclipse, you know, this is going to be a time of massive transformation, and it might not happen straight away. You know, there might be something that happens on that day that then ripples out. Things happen later, you know, like a stone being thrown into a pool of water. You know, it takes time to ripple out, and so everything has cause and effect. And I feel like this lunar eclipse is really calling us into our past, and actually maybe acknowledging some of those old secrets, coming to a place of forgiveness and healing and moving on. You know, because what we're being called for, you know, by the time we get around to the solar eclipse in Taurus, is to align with our collective North Node. We're being called into our destiny. So it feels like this lunar eclipse is like, it's about death, it's about endings, it's about letting shit go from the past, all the things that we've been holding on to that are in the way of stopping us really fulfilling this destiny that we are here to collectively share. So this is the first cycle of our eclipse season journey, and then I'm going to bring up the next one for you. So I'm just going to stop sharing that and get to see my face again and my teeth. Here we go. So this is the new lunar cycle for June and July. So you can see we've got our new moon in Taurus, solar eclipse. This is on the 10th of the 6th at 11:52, quite close to the north node of the moon, and also bright star Aldebaran. And I forgot to say as well, oh my goodness, that the lunar eclipse is aligned to Antares, and I'll talk more about those later. Yes, so the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus, you know, this is, like I said, it's connected to our collective destiny. It's about a new beginning for the earth. It's about a global awakening, I feel, connected to the earth. And also all of the energy of Taurus, you know, for a long time I've connected it to the energy of Hathor. I've connected it to Aphrodite and sensuality and embodiment. And so, you know, it's very interesting, you know, how everything is falling into place. And, you know, we are really being gifted at this time a chance to really work through a lot of big stuff and realign where we need to realign to. Or if we're already on that path, you know, we might just feel more stuff coming into alignment, more connections being made, you know, really starting to work towards this goal. Yeah, and then during this lunar cycle, we'll be working with the first quarter moon energy of Virgo, which is the 18th of the 6th at 4:54. And then the full moon will be in Sagittarius. So this full moon, you know, at the end of these two eclipses, you know, because Sagittarius to me is like the spiritual teacher, you know, and it's where the galactic center is. And so, wow, You know, like this full moon is like at the end of this eclipse season, and it's basically feels like we're coming home to the galactic center. We're coming home to our wisdom and our awakening. And you know, in many different texts and traditions, they talk of, you know, the bright star in Sagittarius and how it's a portal to other galaxies, and etc, etc, etc. And so it feels like, you know, because this full moon will be the fullness of all of that, it will be like the culmination of all of the eclipse energy is in Sagittarius on this last full moon of this cycle. And so yeah, this will be a really big closure, I think, about all of what's come up over the last 8 weeks. And yeah, it will be a beautiful full moon in Sagittarius. I feel very enlightening, very awakening. You know, we may be looking at spirituality in a different way, looking at our truths in a different way, you know, really wanting to practice this full embodiment of generosity and expansion and community, and also sharing of wisdom and knowledge, which I also connect to Sagittarius. We may even feel with this full moon, you know, after all these eclipses, that there'll be a lot of energy coming in from the galactic center, even from our star families, even from, you know, all of our ancestors. And like, I feel like that'll be quite an open portal at that time, for really, yeah, tapping into that energy. And then the last quarter moon, which will be on the 1st of July, will be in Pisces, and it will be conjunct Chiron. So this last part of this cycle before we get our next new moon will be a real time of healing and closure, and like purifying and being in the water, and really, yeah, healing ourselves from this whole experience, you know. And we don't know on the gateway now, as we're just entering it, we don't know what's going to happen. It's like when you go into labor, you don't know the path of birth and where it's going to take you. And what I learned is, like, I had a great idea or a great kind of vision of what I wanted, but it's like there is a higher agenda, you know. There is a divine plan which I actually had to get out of the way for, you know. And so this is what the lunar eclipse gifted me last time when my son was born 2 years ago. It was about getting out of the way of my own stuff and allowing that part of me to die so that the divine plan could play out, you know. And I was trying to prevent it because of my vision, but actually when I surrendered to the divine plan and the way that the flow was going where we needed to be, wow, you know, that's when all the transformation happened, and I was reborn and I was initiated where I needed to be initiated. But there's a lot of surrender and yielding that needs to happen, and letting go of our identity and parts of ourselves that we're holding on to, or past stories. You know, so this is the real gift of this whole eclipse season. You know, it's really helping us to connect with that past, and that part of us that really is creating that old reality over and over again. It's asking us to yield. It's asking us to hand it over and say, okay, what's the divine plan? I give it to the divine plan, and move my ego self out the way, and then it pours in. The way pours in, and it's so powerful at that point. That was a big learning experience for me in our journey. So, all right, let me stop sharing that one. So I'm going to share with you now the Stellarium web page. I've got like eight sky maps to show you as well. I'm not sure I'm going to get through them all today. It might be a very long video otherwise, but we'll see how we go. I really want to go with the flow of what's coming in. All right, so here we are today. Can we see this? Yeah. So as I've said to many of you before, if you've been watching my videos, you know, this is the live sky today. This is the ecliptic. These are all the constellations. And so we can see right now the sun is just past Uranus, who is right at the end of Aries. Like I said, by the 14th of May, the sun will have moved into Taurus. And so you can see, you know, around the time of this lunar eclipse, the sun will be in Taurus, and I'll move it in a moment so we can see, next to Venus and Mercury. So, and the North Node. So blooming powerful, isn't it? Wow, you can't make this up. So anyway, back to right now. We are in the waters of Pisces. We're in the dark of the moon. We're back to the womb time. You know, might be feeling quite dreamy, quite watery, quite sensitive, probably want to be on our own a bit more. And just honor that, you know, this is the dark of the moon. So there's a lot less kind of outward energy, much more inward, reflective energy. And so the moon will come into alignment with Uranus just before it comes to its newness. Ooh. So let's see. Yeah, so that will be on the 10th. The new moon is on the 11th, by the way, of May. And so the moon will come into alignment with Uranus on the 10th. I'll have to change the time a little bit more. When do you come into your exact? I'm singing to you now. Sorry, as I've said to you before, this program jumps around a little bit, so we have to be patient. Here we go. So on the 10th of May at 22:31, 10:30 in the evening, the moon will come into exact alignment with Uranus in Aries. And so this is the dark, dark, dark of the moon before we come into our new moon, which will be on the 11th, which is Tuesday. You can see the moon and the sun together. That's how we know it's a new moon. And so looking at the constellations, we're right at the end of Aries. So we're still in alignment with that last star in Aries. And what time was it? 19:59. So I'm just going to change it back to make sure we've got the exact time right. Okay, so there we go. 19:59. No, 19. It's changed it itself. There we go. So that is our new moon here. And so, yeah, so we're just having our meeting with Uranus on Monday. That could be interesting as well, you know, in this dark of the moon, you could feel quite a lot of eruptive energy with that alignment, with that kind of sensitivity and inwardness of the dark of the moon. You know, it's like it could be a real tender energy actually, because Uranus is quite electric and like, whoa. So yeah, just to be really careful and conscious on Monday about that energy and how that could be playing out for you. Yeah, so our new moon will come around on Tuesday, which is the 11th. That's in the GMT time zone. And yeah, beautiful energy at the end of Aries, just before we cross the border to go into Taurus. And, you know, it's going to be, this is the beginning of the eclipse season. Really, really beautiful time. And yeah, we have 2 weeks. You know, our first quarter moon will be in Leo. And so this is a very fiery beginning, as I've said before. And it's a time of preparation. It's a time of really looking at all that's coming up for us, tuning into the eclipses and what we may be working through personally. We can also, you know, look at the collective and what people around us are experiencing. I'm going to jump forward to the full moon lunar eclipse, which is on the 26th. So I want to show you some cool stuff. And what time was that? That was at 11:18. Okay, so we're going to zoom on the moon. Here we go. So this is the time of the lunar eclipse and the full moon. And so you can see here, you know, this is the constellation Scorpio. And look, this is Antares. So this is one of the this is the brightest star in Scorpio. It's Alpha Scorpio. So this star is extremely special, extremely special. It's one of the 4 royal stars, and the 4 royal stars are Antares, which is the Watcher of the West. And then we have Regulus in Leo. I think that's the north. Aldebaran in Aldebaran in Taurus is the east, and I think Regulus is the south, and then Formula, which is just under Aquarius, it's a fish that's just under the grail of Aquarius, is in the north, I believe. So I might have got those mixed up. But anyway, the 4 royal stars are like, they have been used for so many thousands of years by the ancients as the guardians of the skies. Antares being the keeper of the west, you know, and it's really magical star. You can do research on this star if you feel like it, you know, because this is where our lunar eclipse is aligned to. It's so powerful. It's the heart of the Scorpion. And so it's also one of the Bohemian stars, which is the 15 stars that the alchemists used to use for their magic and rituals to draw down the energy of the stars. When things aligned with these stars, you know, they would do ceremonies and things. So Antares is one of those. And what the alchemists, the ancient alchemists, connected to this was strength, protection, and guidance. Antares is also the key to the Golden Gate. So the Golden Gate is like the gate into, you know, higher consciousness and into the galactic center. When you look, if you're zooming out here, so this is our galactic center. You can see it's like a massive yoni in the sky. Yeah, so, and like I've said before, like there's portals in Sagittarius, like stargates, clusters in Sagittarius, which are incredibly powerful. That, you know, I'm not sure if I can find it right now, but there's nebulas and different things. It's like so powerful. Yes, so Antares is like the key. By many ancient people, they used to believe this, you know, that, and I do. I believe Antares is a key into the Golden Gate. Look, this is gold here, you see? It's like so golden. And I'm going to zoom out a bit for you because I really want to show you the constellation Draco. So it's going to, whoops. Okay, so we can see this is our full moon here. This is in Scorpio. We've got a focus here. So you can see, for those of you who don't use 13 star sign astrology, you can see that a focus does have its place in the ecliptic. It goes right over it. And then, so the serpent is like, once we go through the gate, golden gate of the Scorpion, the heart of the Scorpion, we find ourselves with the serpent of a focus. You know, and this is our key to enlightenment, to home, to the galactic center, you know, to this beautiful place, this womb portal. And so right above the moon and Antares is Draco. So this is at the time of our full moon. The moon will be directly underneath Draco. And the reason why I feel quite excited about this, because the dragon energy has been really strong for me recently. And then when I realized, you know, my partner's done a dragon, and, you know, the nodes of the moon are also known as the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. So the south node of the moon is connected to the dragon's tail. The north node of the moon is connected to the dragon's head. You know, and so the full moon will be next to Antares, which is a royal star. And then the new moon solar eclipse will be next to Aldebaran, which is also one of the royal stars, and that's connected to our dragon's head and our north node. Wow, see, this is royal dragon energy is like so strong. And so, yeah, looking into Draco, you know, the brightest star, or Alpha Draco, is called Etamin. Look up Etamin, research into this star. You know, it's a fixed star that is actually also incredibly powerful. And the word Etamin is an Arabic word which means the great serpent. You know, so dragons and serpents are very much connected. And so this particular star, Etamin, which is in Draco, is the brightest star of the dragon, or the great serpent, and it was worshipped in Egypt. You know, it's actually visible through the passages of the Hathor temple, and also in Greece there's the city of dragons, and the temple aligns with this star. You know, so ancient temples, you know, knew the power of this particular star, Etamin, and they aligned their temples so that this particular star would shine its light through at certain times of the year. You know, there's no coincidence of all of this alignment that's coming up. So, you know, zooming back out again, you can see, you can draw a line, you know, straight down from the lunar eclipse all the way to this particular star. That is incredible alignment, you know. And then I'm going to see if I can get the sun in the same picture. Don't know. Yeah, so if you look on the other end over here, the sun, oh, where'd it go? There you are. So the sun at the time of the lunar eclipse, which is happening in Scorpio, the sun will be in Taurus. You know, it's aligned to Aldebaran, brightest star in Taurus, royal star, Bohemian star. So what is Aldebaran? I don't know if I can even pronounce this. Oh, some of the star names are quite tricky. Aldebaran. It's connected to, it's a Bohemian star, it's the royal star of the East. It's connected to high intelligence, honesty, honourable behaviour, eloquent communication style, reliability, courage and success. You know, so all of this eclipse season, you know, is really centered around these values. And, you know, so this is where our north node is in Taurus right now. You know, the sun will be directly aligned to the Pleiades, as you can see here, the seven sisters, which is also very sacred star cluster. You know, so these are very powerful cluster of stars that many of the ancient traditions use and believe that they come from, and all different things like that. So you can see the potency of this eclipse season. So the north node is like all of these values of Taurus, the values that are connected to Aldebaran are, you know, like I've said, it's connected to high intelligence and honesty, being honourable, having incredible communication, reliability, courage and success. You know, so this is where we're moving towards. We've also got Venus here, Mercury's, they're actually be at the end of Taurus by this point, but they're still here, they're still in Taurus, you know, so there's no coincidence of that either. Venus is at home in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus. It's like bringing communication to all of these things, all of these values of Taurus and all of the things that I've said, you know, and so it feels like a really potent thing to have, you know, alignments at these gates. You know, we've got the east and the west, and then I was like, oh my gosh, imagine if there was something at the north, and imagine if there was something at the other south. So let's just pop in Regulus as well, see if it'll take me there. Thank you. So this is Regulus, which is the guardian of the, I want to say south, but I'm not sure. Then we have Vesta here. So at the time of the full moon, you know, Vesta of the sacred fire is going to be close to Regulus, and she's been in Leo for quite some time now, you know, so I've been connecting a lot with Vesta over the last year. You know, she's really powerful. asteroid, and I feel really connected to the asteroids. You know, I feel like they're just as important as some of the planets, and they hold great power. You know, when we think about our Chiron and our wounds and everything, it's such a big part of our chart, right? And I also include Vesta and other asteroids as well, because I really feel they are so important. Yeah, so yeah, this is the Regulus Gate. So we have got Vesta is in Regulus, and over in Formal Heart, which is in the Fish. Just going to look up Jupiter, because that's where Jupiter's hanging out. Ta-da! Okay, so this is Formal Heart, which is the other royal star. So you can see we've got alignments with the 4 royal stars at the time of the lunar eclipse. So there's something at each gate which is anchoring the energy. So I feel like this could be a time of really great magic. And, you know, it's like a celestial compass. That's, you know, we've got Jupiter over here, we've got Vesta over here, we've got the sun over here, and then we've got the moon over here. And it's like, and the sun and the moon and with the nodes, and it's like, wow. It feels incredibly potent. You know, and Jupiter in Aquarius is really anchoring the energy of the Aquarian age, which, you know, we are on the gateway to. You know, we're moving towards it now. We're at the end of Pisces. And so, yeah, like you can see here, Formal Hat is actually in a constellation called Pisces Australis, and that Austrinus. And that is like directly under the chalice of Aquarius, you know, so it's like the fish that's drinking from the Holy Grail. I also have an alignment in my own chart with this particular star, which is quite magical. So yeah, I feel like the Jupiter energy is quite strong for me right now. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, so that's all pretty exciting, right? You know, and then when I was looking at, you know, the Golden Gate and the Silver Gate, so you can do research into this as well. You know, this is all my own musings, and I'm being pulled into all these directions of this eclipse. So I'm getting all of this stuff coming in. So you might be activated by all of these things that I'm saying as well. You know, and please do your own research, look into it, because there's so much here. You know, and we are here to learn and to experience and expand and grow and transform and ultimately connect with our soul. You know, and this I feel is in from the stars and all the star gates, very much connected to our soul. I had this vision last night. Oh my goodness, I have to share with you. I was going to bed, you know, when you're at that state of like kind of being nearly asleep and not quite asleep. And I had this vision of this great bridge, right? And so on one side, it was the Golden Gate of the gods. And then on the other side, it's the Silver Gate of reincarnation. And so the Silver Gate of reincarnation is actually connected to Gemini, the constellation Gemini. That's where the ancients believed that the Silver Gate of reincarnation was. And Gemini is connected to the twins as well. So research it. It's like, and at the Golden Gate of the gods, you know, at the time of this eclipse, lunar eclipse, we're going to look for Urania. Now, when I heard this name, Urania, I was looking at my sky maps the other day and I was like, oh, who are you? You're an asteroid. And I zoomed in. She was in the galactic center at the time of this lunar eclipse, and I was like, oh wow, so there is something at each of the royal stars. And there's also Mars is in Gemini, he's at the Silver Gate. Urania is an asteroid that is in the Golden Gate. So who is she? You know, like I had to do a bit of research because I'd never heard of Urania before. She symbolizes universal love and the Holy Spirit. She's a daughter of Zeus and Menem. I can't even say this name. She's one of the 9 muses. She's an astrologer, an astronomer, and she is beautiful. Like she's orbits between mostly Mars and Jupiter, and she orbits the sun every 1.33 days. And so that's the 13, you know, and I'm so mesmerized by 13 star sign astrology, and her cycle has got the number 13 in it. So, and she's an astrologer. So I'm like, oh, you're an important asteroid. So then I looked her up in my chart and I was like, wow, mind boggled in a good way. So anyway, let's find her. Where was she? Yeah, so look, she's right in the middle of the galactic center. This is the galactic center here. This is the moon at Antares and Scorpio for the lunar eclipse. Urania, boom, she is right in the middle of it all. And so these particular clusters here are connected to sacred gateways. This is Sagittarius 3. You know, they're all very, I can't remember which one is the portal. But this whole area is like loaded with sacred gateways, I believe. And that's just coming from, you know, my intuition on it. You know, I haven't done the scientific research, but yeah, that's just my feeling. You know, I feel really strongly about that. It's a very magical place in the universe. It's the yoni, you know. So yeah, Urania is right in, she is at the golden gate of the gods, you know, and she's actually connected to Jupiter, who's also called Zeus. Jupiter is over in Aquarius at the time of this lunar eclipse. So yeah, she's family basically to him. So yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? So what are we going to do with all this? You know, all of this information. I'm going to zoom on out. Okay, so I'm going to show you the chart for the new moon. I think that will be as much as I might do, and then maybe the lunar eclipse, and then I'll do the rest later on, maybe, because otherwise we'll be here all day. And my son and partner will probably be back soon. Yeah. Well, okay, wow, look, so we have at the time of the new moon, which is on Tuesday, we have got all this action over here in Aries. Black moon Lilith is right there as well. You know, so how I was saying about this full moon lunar eclipse going to be connecting us to our past and our karma and all of this. This positioning of Lilith makes me feel like, wow, well, she's connected to our fears, isn't she, and our shadows. She's asking us to walk the path of our shadows, this new moon, for this whole cycle, for this next 8 weeks, you know. So it's like the lunar eclipse is taking us down the serpent's tail, and we are getting a chance to really look at these wounds, to look at these fears, to look at the past, to look at that which has been hidden. There might be secrets being exposed, you know, that we've been keeping from ourselves, or other people have been keeping from us, or, you know, collectively. So yeah, and the Scorpio energy, it really wants to transform all of that needs to be transformed. It's like, you know, we can't keep carrying on these old patterns, so unless we want to stay there, you know. But our soul has chosen to evolve and to grow into who we came here to be. So yeah, so this is the time of the new moon. And so you can see down here, this is the south node. This is over in Ophiuchus, right next to Scorpio, obviously. And so this is our north node over here, which is in Taurus. And so this whole eclipse season is connected to letting go of our past and the karma and moving towards our collective destiny. And that means, you know, taking the path of Lilith. It means facing our dragons and actually finding our greatest power is there with our fear. That which we are afraid of, you know, we need to walk towards. We need to hold Lilith's hand and walk with her into the dark, you know, and really witness the scorpion, face the scorpion and all of its secrets and all of the underworld and the deep dark ocean of our emotions and our feelings, you know. So I'm going to jump over to the full moon lunar eclipse here. I'm just going to mark out the nodes again for you. So you can see that the sun has now moved into Taurus, right next to the north node at the time of the lunar eclipse. Down here, our full moon is right next to the south node. So this is where Antares is, as I've said. This is the keeper of the West. West is connected to death, transformations, endings, rebirth. And then over here, we've got the East. You know, the East is the rising sun. It's the new beginning. It's the dawning. You know, so we are really being called now to look at this over here in Scorpio, to walk the path of our most fears and shadows, that which has been hidden, maybe expose some hidden things, and yeah, really be that voice for, you know, because we've got Mercury next to Venus, the voice of our heart, you know, the voice of our heart, sharing our heart. It feels really important at this time to really speak that truth. Something else that's really jumped out at me around this whole lunar eclipse especially is Neptune is right next to Pallas. Pallas is connected to integrity, truth and justice, also known as Athena. So this could be, it's interesting because it's like Neptune is illusion, right? And dreams, and so it feels like the truth, you know, is kind of blurry. Could be these illusions or delusions that have been kind of, the truth has been blurred. You know, this is what I feel about these two being together at this time, because it's all in square to Mercury as well, you know, and Venus. So this is in square to our voice and our heart, you know. So wow, this is really big energy for, you know, because that's also, but that is actually in trine. I'm sorry, Chiron is in trine to the moon and the south node. This is all about healing, you know, and healing the ocean, healing our waters and our feelings, the Pisces energy, the collective. So I feel like what is happening in this eclipse season, of course, it's going to play out for us personally, but it's also going to play out on a bigger scale collectively. We are going through a collective rebirth, a collective transformation, which is helping us. It's enshrined to our wounds. It's enshrined to our healing. This is really what it feels like it's about, you know, by going into the dark, taking Lilith's hand and saying, okay, show me my shit. I need to move on from this. I will walk in the dark with you. You know, she is then like, she's got the key to the Golden Gate of the gods and the dragons. And she said, okay, we'll go meet the dragons then. And then it's like, oh gosh, okay. Because that's our greatest power. It's the great serpent, you know, and the great serpent of Fucus has been hidden from us, you know. So that which has been hidden, you know, is that's kind of needs to be exposed. These things that have been hidden, blurred, the truth that's been blurred, you know, that needs to be exposed. And so these secrets may come out, different things may come out. Personally, eclipses always bring great change, you know, in some way or another, and it all affects all of us differently. You know, I feel like it will be different depending on what you've got in your own chart, and yeah. So yeah, the first quarter moon is in Leo. And so this is the Leo and Aquarius energy that we're working with as well in this cycle. And then we've got the Sagittarius energy in the full moon at the next end of the next lunar cycle. I'm not going to jump that far ahead right now. I feel like going up until the lunar eclipse is probably enough, isn't it? It's like, okay, so the next 2 weeks, really about listening to what's coming up, really tuning into our inner wisdom and this voice that's like, hey, what do I want to express now, and what is coming into my field, what people are around me, what patterns and triggers am I experiencing, okay, maybe do journaling and say, okay, this is what feels like it's coming up for me. You know, maybe speak to a sidereal or 13-star sign astrology person, maybe me, and see what alignments are in your own personal chart and what maybe your kind of where you'll be guided to go during this time. It's a massive time of transformation. You know, it's you know, I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy on a lunar eclipse, so it's not all that scary, but I did have to really face a lot in that as well. And I feel like with the energy being so close to Antares, also aligned with Draco and that very special star, Etamin, you know, it's like it's the great dragon that this lunar eclipse is aligned to. So it does feel like going into the dark, facing our fears and our shadows, going deep, you know, really dig deeper. You think that's deep? Let's go even deeper. Let's go to the core of all of this. And from there, you know, it's from there that we will find our rebirth and our transformation. And we could do ceremonies, you know, as well, and rituals to really to call to the dragons, to call to our greatest power and our greatest ally, you know, and to call to Lilith and to work with this energy to actually bring us to a place of great empowerment and great shifts for us. You know, the Taurus energy as well, which is where the North Node is and the Sun, you know, it's so much connected to finances and abundance and money, you know, so there could be lots of restructuring happening around that kind of thing. You know, different types of resources and physical things, you know, so Taurus is connected to the physical things in the body. You know, with this trine to Chiron, we might find that we're doing some healing, some health stuff might come up to do with the body with Taurus, you know, and our wounds. So yeah, take it easy, drink so much water and really tend to those parts that might be feeling vulnerable around this time. Really listen to that part of ourselves. So as I was saying, like you've got the royal star here and here, which is where the nodes of the moon are. And then also Jupiter is at Formulat, which is over here. And then Vesta is over here, which is near to Regulus. So yeah, this must be the north, hey? That's the south. Anyway, these royal stars are connected to the points. And yeah, so there's something at each of these gateways. And then over here in Gemini, there is the gate that's connected to the silver gate of reincarnation that the ancients used to believe, you know. So this is over here. And then at our galactic center, which is in Sagittarius, we've got Urania, which is that asteroid. And she's not on my chart, I'm afraid, but she was about here. You know, so there is something going on in all the places. I'm going to draw a bit of a weird squiggly line now, but you can see, you know, this golden gate and the silver gate of Gemini and Sagittarius is really potent, you know. And so once we move past, the moon moves past this time in Scorpio, it will transit through here, you know, and then it will have its last quarter moon in Aquarius, you know, so you can see it over here. So yeah, it's definitely a huge time, isn't it? Like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I feel like I've shared so much in this video, so I'm going to wrap it up now. But I will pop a copy of the charts onto my Instagram page. So if you want to take a closer look at the charts, you can. Yeah, and I'll put a little post on there as well for you all. Yeah, and I've got a few people that I've got to look at reports for the solar and lunar eclipse. So yeah, I don't want to take on too much more at the moment. My little boy's not been very well, so I've been at kind of full mama mode, so it's hard to do anything else when the little ones are not well, of course, because they come first. So Yeah, or you could contact Kim at Rastar 13 Star Sign Astrology, and I'm sure she'd look at it for you, dear friend of mine. Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. I think that's all for today, and if you have any questions or anything, please do get in touch. Just want to show you my beautiful dragon that my partner made. Beautiful Paul. Hanuman's art on Instagram. Yeah, let's dive in. Let's be curious. What is rising for us now? And what is coming into our field? And really pay attention. And let's use this as an opportunity for great transformation and rebirth. And befriend our greatest fears and make them our allies. And then learn to ride the dragons again, because they are our friends. All right, that's all for now, my darlings. I shall see you at the lunar eclipse and the full moon. Woo! Sending love. Ciao.